Hari ini kita memiliki kegiatan yang berbeda dengan yang lain. Biasanya kita di Wisma atau di KBRI atau di kantor KBRI acaranya kumpul-kumpul. Hari ini kita kumpul, tetapi ada materi tambahannya mengenai sosialisasi izin tinggal keimigrasian Polandia bagi kita semua. Acara ini dibagi 3 sesi. Yang pertama adalah mengenai masalah keimigrasian. Kemudian yang kedua adalah pelantikan pengurus PPI yang baru. Kemudian ada pertanggungjawaban juga pengurus PPI yang lama. Setelah itu dilanjutkan juga dengan pembahasan masalah-masalah konsularan. Untuk mempersingkat waktu, sebelum kita mulai acara ini, kami persilakan kepada Duta Besar Republik Indonesia untuk memberikan sambutan sekaligus membuka acara ini dan arahan-arahan.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera bagi kita semua. Selamat pagi. Sebelumnya saya mohon izin, saya ingin berbicara dalam bahasa Inggris untuk menyapa Ibu Agatha sebentar ya. Ms. Agatha Ewetska, the Director of Department of Foreigners, Masovian Information Office in Warsaw. It is really an honor for me to welcome you to this event on policy immigration on residence permit and consular update. We are really grateful for your presence here to be able to share about policy regulation in residence permit. You see that we have quite a number of Indonesian here, mostly students, but there are also professionals here that would be take a lot of benefits from your presence here for the discussion that will follow up. Taking this opportunity, let me briefly explain to you some data about Indonesian people. Indonesian residing in Poland, based on our data until October 2019, there are 688 people. We might have different numbers, but this is the one that has reported their presence here to our portal. This number has increased double in the last 5 years, and the largest numbers come from students and workers. The expansion of this number also leads to another effort in particular acquiring police residence permit. Today, with you, there will have a chance to learn together about the regulations on how to obtain this permit, and really appreciate your presence. Now, allow me to speak Indonesia to my fellow Indonesians. Teman-teman sekalian, Bapak Ibu yang saya hormati, yang adik-adik yang saya cintai, di luar dingin sekali, tapi masuk ke sini saya ngerasa bergairah ya, karena saya melihat wajah-wajah cerah, wajah yang muda, cantik, cakep. Saya betul-betul merasa excited to be here, pasti senang, bergairah. Seperti kita ketahui, hubungan Indonesia dan Polandia dalam beberapa tahun terakhir semakin membaik, terlihat dengan lebih banyaknya jumlah orang Indonesia ke sini, dan peningkatan hubungan ekonomi juga semakin meningkat. Bukan hanya people to people konteks saja, tetapi juga hubungan ekonomi, sosial budaya, dan politik juga semakin meningkat. Jadi ibu-ibu, bapak-bapak, adik-adik sekalian, para mahasiswa mempunyai peran yang besar dalam mempromosikan Indonesia, sehingga pengetahuan orang-orang Polandia tentang Indonesia semakin baik dan hubungan akan semakin meningkat. Karena kalau mereka lebih banyak tahu tentang Indonesia, para pengusahanya tertarik membeli produk Indonesia, berinvestasi di Indonesia, jalan-jalan ke Indonesia untuk menjadi turis, dan otomatis kedatangan mereka dalam 3 hal itu akan menambah valuta asing. Adik-adik akan sangat membantu dalam peningkatan hubungan baik Indonesia dan Polandia. Adik-adik adalah etalase berjalan Indonesia. Jadi baik di kampus maupun di tempat adik-adik ada, karena nanti adik-adik ini teman-teman tidak hanya dikenal sebagai si A aja, si Nining misalkan, tapi Nining yang dari Indonesia. Jadi kalau mereka akan ingin mengetahui banyak, mereka akan mendatangi adik-adik untuk bertanya. Tapi kalau mereka tidak bertanya, mereka akan melihat dari perilaku kita. Dan juga Pak, saya juga ingin menghimbau adik-adik sekalian untuk lebih aktif, terutama dalam PPI, Persatuan Pelajar Indonesia di Polandia. Kita baru melakukan pemilihan umum ya kepada Mas Zulkifli selama sudah terpilih, dan ada 2 calon lagi yang tidak terpilih, tapi saya mengucapkan apresiasi yang sangat tinggi kepada 2 calon lainnya yang sudah ikut meramaikan bursa pemilihan ini. Bagi bapak-bapak, ibu-ibu, adik-adik yang memiliki isu terkait kekonsularan di acara pada saat akhir acara. Sekali lagi terima kasih atas kehadirannya. Mari kita manfaatkan forum ini sebaik-baiknya. Kalau ada unek-unek pertanyaan apapun, keluarkan di sini forumnya, dan kita manfaatkan sebaik-baiknya, baik itu dalam kaitan dengan pengurusan jenjang maupun dengan PPI.
Konsuler atau yang menjadi isu-isu konsuler. Pertama, paspor RI. Paspor RI dan surat perjalanan SPLP. Nah, paspor RI ini yang membedakan adalah kalau paspor 48 halaman, SPLP hanya 24 halaman. Untuk SPLP diberikan bagi mereka yang paspornya hilang dan akan kembali ke tanah air. Ya. Kemudian yang kedua, perpanjangan untuk paspor RI. Perpanjangan itu apabila habis masa berlakunya. Masa berlaku habis paspor ini sering kita mendengar ada yang lebih dari 8 bulan atau lebih dari 7 bulan, lebih dari 1 tahun mereka memohon untuk penggantian paspor baru. Kalau menurut peraturan perundang-undangan, paspor itu diganti setelah kurang lebih masa berlakunya kurang dari 6 bulan. Paspor hilang atau rusak ini bisa terjadi pada siapa saja yang mungkin pada saat jalan-jalan atau di rumah mungkin di apartemennya siram dengan air, itu bisa terjadi. Kemudian penambahan nama belakang di dalam paspor. Nah, ini persyaratan paspor. Pertama, surat permohonan kepada fungsi konsuler. Kedua, yang paling utama adalah masuk ke ada bukti lapor diri via portal PPI. Ini sumber dari segala pelayanan konsuler. Kalau tanpa ini tidak akan kita layani, karena tujuannya adalah untuk memiliki satu data WNI yang ada di Polandia. Kemudian kopi dokumen status kemahasiswaan, ada biasanya kartu mahasiswa ya. Kalau untuk bekerja KTKLN-nya. Kemudian kopi dokumen kontrak kerja, ini untuk pekerja. Pas foto yang terbaru 3x4 dan 4,5, jadi bukan pas foto yang 6 bulan yang lalu atau 3 bulan yang lalu. Atau yang masih imut-imut ya, di zaman SMP di bawah dari paspor. Kemudian membawa buku paspor yang lama. Biayanya untuk paspor, penggantian paspor itu $50, ya benar, $50. Kemudian paspor hilang atau rusak ada tambahannya juga, nanti bisa ditanyakan kepada Pak Mirsa berapa harganya. Kemudian SPLP juga ada biayanya. Kami juga menghimbau untuk pelayanan kepada seluruh WNI yang datang ke KBRI membutuhkan pelayanan konsuler untuk hadir sebelum jam 10. Ya. Karena kalau sudah lewat jam 10 kita memperhitungkan waktu dengan Jakarta yang akan memverifikasi kemudian upload dokumen. Nah, itu akan dibaca oleh imigrasi di pusat dan kemudian mereka akan menyetujui di sana. Dan kalau misalnya tadi saya menyampaikan bahwa di dalam buku paspor itu misalnya ada yang ganti melebihi dari 6 bulan, akan ketahuan di OD setiap halaman di paspor itu ada nomor perforasi ya. Nah itu nomor itu akan ketahuan bahwa KBRI Warsaw mengeluarkan paspor melebihi dari masa waktunya. Berikut surat-surat keterangan yang kita layani di sini adalah surat keterangan pendidikan asal sekolah ataupun ijazah, kemudian surat keterangan penyetaraan ijazah. Jadi yang sudah selesai biasanya kita mengeluarkan surat penyetaraan ijazah untuk disampaikan ke Dikti ya. Dan di situ akan dikeluarkan diploma penyetaraannya atau sertifikat atau ijazah yang diakui oleh pemerintah. Kemudian surat keterangan pindah ini bisa dikeluarkan oleh KBRI khususnya untuk misalnya para mahasiswa yang sudah selesai. Saya dengar tahun ini ada yang balik, kalau misalnya pulang membawa kontainer tidak usah segan-segan meminta surat keterangan pindah.
Workers, most of high qualified workers come to Poland and legalize his or her stay in Warsaw. So this is why I was asked to prepare the presentation. And first of all, I would show you the plan of the presentation of this session. First of all, I would like to say some words about administrative culture, how we proceed in administrative procedures, about legalization of stay. There are two phases. One is formal phase, the other one is substantive phase, and you should know all of them because all of them are very important for you. Then I will tell you some requirements about legalization of students, and also if you have questions, I can also answer the questions concerning legalization of stay of workers, high qualified, unified families, and so on and so on. So if you're interested in, I will answer your questions later on. Then I will tell some words about claims and complaints, decisions, and of course I have such a small model concerning questions, the frequently asked questions, which are usually asked by foreigners. First of all, you should know that we proceed your cases in our office on the basis of law, and these are such acts of law, Act of Code of Administrative Proceedings. This is a very old one. As you can see, it was prepared in the 60s, but it was amended several times, and the last amendment was in 2017. It was very important amendment because it introduced special rights for parties of these proceedings. It is not only concerning foreigners, but all the persons who have any administrative proceeding in administration, Polish administration in general. Yes? So this is why I mentioned this. The other act of law is Act on Foreigners. It was from 2013. It was amended several times. The last amendment was this year, and it is very important because we implemented European Union directive concerning students. Act of Promotion of Employment. This concerns Act of law concerns workers, employment, employees, employers, rights and obligations. Act on Civil Acts. This concerns persons who want to get married, who want to registration, the death, the birth of child, and other things. Act on Protection on Foreigners. This is less important for you, and many executive acts of law which concern Act of Foreigners and Act of Promotion of Employment and labor market institutions. What is the administrative culture in Poland? You must know several features of this proceedings. First of all, we like stamps. All officials like stamps at all. Stamps, seals, rubber stamps, smaller, bigger, as you wish. But stamps. So you don't forget, if you have a statement from your bank or statement from your university, you must first of all see if it is stamped. Because without stamp, it doesn't matter at all. Yes, it doesn't. So please mind the deadlines. Until no longer than, you should, when you have a letter from the office, first of all you should see what is the deadline. Yes, the date. Look for the date. Yes, so this is very important. The other things is that administrative procedure requires written documents. It doesn't matter that we interview you, that we ask somebody, that you say something and we listen to something. It doesn't matter at all. It is the administrative procedure, is the written procedure. It means that we have all the documents stamped and translated into Polish and in original to put in your file. Yes, you understood? Okay, so the statements, the declaration, it is not so good as written document. It should be certifications, diplomas, statements, sealed and signed documents from the, for example, from the office, from the university, from the doctor, from each institution you would like to. So these are the most important features, and you should remember them. The other thing that you should know, because it concerns your rights, is that administrative proceedings is two instances in Poland. First instance is the regional office, it means voivodeship office, and the second instance is the chief of the office for foreigners. This is the second instance, and if you don't agree with our decision, you can always appeal to the office for foreigners. And also, we have administrative court proceedings. It means that on the court level, administrative court level, there are also two instances. The first instance is the Voivod Administrative Court, called WSA, and the other instance, the second one, is the High Administrative Court. Yes, but this court is only concerns your cases only on the level of administrative proceeding, not as for the merit. What does it mean? It means that there are only two instances that can legalize your stay. This is it means the office for voivodeship, Mazovian voivodeship office, and chief of the office of foreigners. The court cannot legalize, can see that there was something wrong in your proceedings. Yes? For example, we didn't take into account one of the documents. And this court can say, okay, you don't read it carefully, the office didn't read carefully, you should go back your case to the voivodeship office and review once again, but cannot legalize your stay. Please remember this, okay? Because sometimes complaining to the court does not make you effective stay in Poland. You may stay still illegally. You understand? Mm-hmm. Okay. So this is very, very important for you. As I mentioned, the legalization of stay, the process, has two phases. The first phase is the formal phase. How does it start? Who knows? How does it start? From which point? From the point of submission of documents? No. It starts from the point that you find out that you want to legalize in Poland. It means that you should look for the information, come here, like you are here, that's good, and look for the information, what you should do to legalize in a proper way. Yes? So this is the starting point. Then you should look for the information about the proceeding itself. It means, how can I submit the documents? What documents I need? Where I should look for the documents I need? Who can help me? Who can translate into Polish? Can I go to the consular and ask about something? Can I write email to the office? These are the very important things. And what you can find out? You can find out, for example, how to submit documents, how to fill the application. you can have an email address where you can find the application form that can be filled automatically. Then you should print it, sign it, and submit to the office. How you can make an appointment to submit the documents? Making an appointment is a very important, it is a crucial point. Why is it crucial? Because first of all, the officer can take your fingerprints. This is very important because you need karta pobytu, residence card, and what we should do is to chip your fingerprints into the residence card. Yes? So this is the first thing. The other thing is that we can check if the person who shows the passport is the same person who is staying in front of the officer. Yes? So we can confirm your identity and citizenship. This is the second important thing. The other important thing is that we can check all your documents, sign and certificate that they are original and copies are okay, and then you can see what documents you need. Yes, so there are three important things. There are two important benefits from the submission application in a person after making an appointment. How you can make an appointment? You should log into our website. This is the address. Kolejka WSC Mazowieckie. It means the kolejka means queue. Yes. kolejkamazowieckie.pl, and you should register, make your own account, and then after logging in, just check if there are dates where you can sign in order to submit the documents, the application. So you should do it by yourself. What is important thing? Now, there are a lot of students, there are a lot of persons who came after holidays and want to legalize. So the days where you can sign in and find the proper date are very, very long. You should wait 2 weeks or 3 weeks. So if you have any problems with making an appointment, in the beginning of October we organized the academic Saturday, so many students could have come and submit the documents, but also you can write to your consular or to WSC Mazowieckie, yes, our email address, and then we can try to make an appointment for you. Yes, this is the second way how you can make an appointment in order to submit your documents. The other thing, the other point, when you have your ticket, it is called X. Yes, you can come to the office, just wait for a few minutes or half an hour, depends on other foreigners, and just come to the officer who calls you. And what you should present? You should have your passport, of course. You should have the biometric photographs, yes, like to your passports. You should, the fingerprints will be taken from you. So this is the beginning of the formal phase. And what is important? Important is that you will be informed how what documents you need to present more, or what documents are not proper. So this is also very important to listen carefully to the officer, and if you have any problems with communication, it is a very good practice to take one colleague of yours, one of your friends, to come with you to the office and just to have information in English or translated from Polish into English. Okay? So also look for the Polish colleagues because it is very important in communication. Some of my officers working in the office, they speak in communication way in English and in Russian. So if you cannot communicate, you can also ask someone to show you an officer who can communicate with you in your language. Yes, understandable for you. So this is very important to have a good communication and build a relation with the officer. Yes. And after that, the substantive phase starts, which is ending up with issuing of the decision and residence card. Excuse me. I'm very sorry, I have problems with my voice because the weather is Polish weather. So I hope you are not so sick. Okay, so as I mentioned, the legalization of stay starts with personal appearance of the applicant, of the foreigner in the office, with valid passport, biometric photos, leaving fingerprints. This phase, formal phase, ends up after 7 days, counting from the point of submission of documents. It means that we proceed if all the documents are formally correct. Yes, this is very important. It means it has stamps, the passport is still valid, you are in a legal way, it means you have a valid visa, and so on and so on. What is very important tip for you is to read carefully the letter and what you receive from the officer. Yes, so this also you should. In this case, you should also ask your colleague, your friends from the university to translate into English if you have problems to understand. If it happens that you cannot submit documents in a personal way, it means you are not making an appointment and you didn't come to submit your documents in personal. What happens then? You can also send it by post or leave it in the office consularity. But it is not a very good way to legalize the documents. Why? Because, first of all, the fingerprints are not taken. The documents are not checked formally if they are correct or not. You are not confirmed that you are personally. So the personal appearance is not certified, yes? So this is several problems. And what happens then? We usually, after 2 or 3 weeks, send you a letter to the address you fill into the application form. And you usually stay or live in the students' hostels, where there is one number of the room, I can imagine. And what is going on? It is a usual problem because you can also change the rooms. And when we send the letter on the address you left, it is usually not taken by you. So this is very important thing to to make your address actual in your file. So anytime you change your room number, you change the place of living, or you have problems with changing, just give the address, there you always can receive the correspondence from the office. It can be consular, it can be embassy, it can be your colleague that you trust in, yes? So anyone, any address where you are sure that you will receive the correspondence from the office. This is the crucial point because usually after formal phase, if documents are not stated, the documents are not correct, you didn't appear, the formal phase ends up. And what's going on? It's going on that you stay illegally in Poland. documents, for your decision, is 340 zloty. This is the first, yes, 330 zloty. It is not paid to the voivodeship. It is paid to the municipality of Warsaw. So, in consequence, if you don't pay this tax fee, we turn back your application. It means that you didn't pay for the proceedings. Yes? So this is also very important. Not only passport, not only photographs, but also a tax fee. The number of account is on our website, so you should check where to pay for for this application. What happens if you don't give your fingerprints? You cannot leave it. The refusal of initiation of the proceedings. This is the act of foreigners, and we cannot change it. Yes. So if you don't leave your fingerprints because you didn't come, this is the refusal of initiation of the proceedings. Okay. What's going on when you are after the formal phase and everything is correct with your documents? We have taken your fingerprints. We certified your documents, and we found out that you are the same person who wants to legalize on the basis of your passport. We put the stamp in your passport. Who knows the stamp? Who knows the stamp? Who has such a stamp in the passport? It means everything is okay. And what is stated in this stamp? I told you in the beginning that we like stamps, and this is the example. What is going on? It is the stamp that confirms that you submitted your documents in a proper way, and the formal phases is finished. So everything is okay from the point of view of formal phase. And this is the name of the voivodeship. Here is Wojewoda Wielkopolski, it is in Poznań. But if you submit your documents in Warsaw, it will be the Wojewoda Mazowiecki. Yes, or you submitted, and the sign of the person who received the documents. This is your right and obligation in one to receive such a stamp. This is very important because when your visa ends up, has extended, and you still need to stay in Poland, it means that you are still legally. So this is very important. And when you submit your documents, you should always ask and require and order to the officer to put the stamp in your passport. This is your right. Yes? We have some very young officers who are quite crazy and thinking about something else than the foreigner and forget it. But your right is to require from the officer to put the stamp in your passport. Yes? So please remember this. And this stamp does not create any new status of you. It just prolongs the status of your legal stay in order to make you legal, your stay legal all the time until the end of the procedure. It does not create that you are from illegal stay, you are becoming legally. No, no. It means that your stay was legal, you submitted your documents, and you are still legally staying in Poland until the end of the procedure. Yes? So this is why it is very important. When we can stamp this document, you should under two conditions. One condition is when the formal phases is ended, and the other condition is that your stay should be legally at the date of submission of documents. And how we check it? We check it on the basis of visa and calculator of your stay. And what is the visa? I think you know this piece of paper in your passport, yes? And this is the Polish visa issued in consular in Lwów for Ukrainian person, but it doesn't matter. It looks generally for all of the people all over the world, because on the pattern of European Union, so you can see if you have the same visa. This is the Polish visa, short term. so-called short-term visa, up to the 90 days. You can see 90, the number? Yes, up to the 90 days. And what is the validity of visa? First of all, it is on the specified territory. Visa can be Schengen, this is the short-term visa, or a domestic visa called D, not C, but D, and it means this is the domestic visa for Poland. This is long-term visa. The other important thing is the time of validity. Time of validity is the date. Yes, the 24th of October up to the 24th of October next year, 2 years later, because the period of validity is 2 years. Also, the number of entrances, 1, 2, and multi. Yes, it is written here. And also the number of days you can stay in the territory. Yes, and the day of the state, it means the entrance to the territory. It doesn't matter that you enter the territory in the morning, in the evening, late in the evening. It is just the date. Yes, so it means that from this date starts your staying in the territory of Poland or any other Schengen country. So the number of days is the next feature of the visa. It can be 4 days, 90 days, 180 days, or very long for the whole year. For example, 365 days visa for students. Generally, it is issued for students. So this is very important. Why I'm saying this? Because it is very important. From when you receive the scholarship, or when you decide to come to Schengen countries or to Poland for studies, you should apply for long-term visas, not for short-term visas, Schengen like this, for long-term visas. And this is very important because in any case, for example, you have problems in your studies, or you have problems in the family and you have to come back to your country, and you are still in the proceeding, you still have the validity, valid legal stay in Poland. Yes, you still can go out and come in without any consequences. Yes, so the long-term visas called D are very important for you as students. And please mind that you come to Poland for studies, and studies is generally the long term. Yes, you cannot finish your studies during half a year. Yes, you are generally planning to stay 2 years, 3 years, or even longer. So the number of days should be longer than 290 or 180. And also what is important is the goal of stay, and this is called cel wydania. Here is 23, it is the visit, I think, short-term visits or something like this. You have another number, but I don't remember what our students sign. I think you know when you see the into your visas. Yes, so this is the validity of visa. And we check it because when you come to Poland, you receive the stamp in your passport, yes, on the border. And this is the date when you come into Poland. And from this date, we count if your stay is legal. This is calculator Schengen. This is generally, you can Google out in your computer to see how to count if your stay is still legal. Yes. This is a Schengen calculator because the general aim of this calculator was to check if you're staying on the basis of Schengen visa is legal. But generally we'll use it also to the visas, long-term visas. Yes? Okay, so the legalization of stay of the formal phase, we are just finishing this part. And what is going on when you, I have already said what happened when you, when the formal phase is ending up in not proper way. It means that you cannot stay, it means that the initiation of your case has not started, yes? So we don't proceed your case. And why it is very unrequired things for you. It's better to submit all your documents in a proper way and just finish the formal part, the formal stage successfully. And after formal phase, we have the substantive phase. What it is? It is the phase when we check if all your documents confirming your aim of the stay and confirming that you fulfill all the requirements to legal stay in Poland. Yes, it means that you claim that you are a student and you have certification from the university. So we check if you are really a student and your certification from the statement from the university confirms the time of your studies, for example, or the department of your studies, and so on and so on. So, so this is the substantive phase. And what we expect from you during this phase. First of all, this actual address. Yes, this is the crucial once again. The other thing is written documents. I mentioned that we don't like oral statements and so on, only written documents. So you should go to your academy, to your university, and ask for the proper documents. This is very important because in your cases, the cases of students, this is like a triangle. Yes, there is you as a subject of this proceedings, university, and office. Yes, and everything should be in very good relations. It means that we should have good relation with your university, you should have very good relation with the office and with the university, and the office should good relation with, particularly with you, because you are the subject of the proceedings. So you should always pay a lot of attention about your affairs, not only in the office, but also in the university. Yes? So go to the office for international relations or international students or whatever, yes, and ask for the proper documents. Ask the officer sitting there to check if they are correct, the proper, your name is correct, yes, your address is correct, the name of the studies is correct. You should always check it and ask the officer to check it in the university. Yes? Because it is very important just at the beginning, because there is such an article that makes an obligation for you to submit all the proper documents confirming the goal of your stay and legal stay in Poland with the application form. We shouldn't ask you once again and once again and once again to bring the documents. You should bring it with you, just come into the office and submit your application. Yes, at this point. Then analysis of the documents is of the next stages. But what we are looking for in the documents you submit. First of all, we look for the aim of the studies, the main stay of Poland is over 3 months, because it is written in the Polish Act of Law, Act of Foreigners, that the goal of the stay should be longer than 3 months. It means when you are planning the graduate studies, we are in November now, so if you are planning to graduate your studies in January, and studies is not a good goal of your stay, because your study finishes in 2 months. Yes, there are no 3 months goal of the stay in Poland. But if you submit documents and write that you are planning to finish your studies in January, but then you are planning to stay in Poland in order to look for a job, we can just wait until you bring us your diploma, yes, graduation diploma, and then check if you have if you requirements concerning staying in Poland in order to look for a job, because there is such a goal for students who graduated in Polish universities and Polish academies. We are also looking for the information that confirms your real goal of staying in Poland. It means if you fulfill the requirements of the staying as a student, as a worker, as a graduate. But also we look for if a foreigner is in international or European Union databases like PPI. This is the Schengen information system, where the person who is dangerous for the European Union security is signed in. Yes, his data are in this system. So we are always checking in the international and national databases. We also check your documents if they are not false or forged. So be careful. Be careful and please mind and don't believe any someone who is a lawyer, who is an attorney, who is a helper, who is anyone who wants to help you and want money for this. Okay? Please be careful about the persons like this, because they really benefit from your that you are a foreigner and you don't have a proper knowledge about legalization of stay. But now, after this meeting, you will have a proper knowledge about the legalization of stay. So you don't need their help. You can help yourself and between yourself. Yes? So this. Okay. What we have? Yes, I had some legalization of stay of students. What are the requirements? What are the First of all, the requirement is to have a proper statement on the basis of the new statement pattern from Polish law. This template, this pattern is known to the universities and academies, so you should always make sure to the office, you don't have to know how the pattern looks like. You don't have to know. It is the obligation of the officer in the university, the worker in the university, who helps foreign students. Yes? So you should always make sure and ask the officer in the university if the pattern is the proper, correct, and according to the new law. Okay? Please remember this. This is the statement letter from the university. And if you got, this is for the new campus, yes? And for persons who continue studies, or on the second year or the third year, we also need the results from the previous semester should be attached. So, what grades have you received? Who had 8 grades? Many of you? 8 grades? Very good grades? Okay, a lot. I guess. Okay. So the results from the previous semester should be attached on the also on the special pattern from the university. Then you should check, or always you should ask the consular. This is a very good point to you to help the foreign students to check if your university or school or the academy is approved by the Ministry of Internal Affairs. This is the new, quite new, also for us in the Polish law, because some of the universities or academies or high schools needs a special approval from the Ministry of Internal Affairs. Why we implemented such law? Because a lot of schools just just wanted foreign study students to come, pay money, and didn't give anything for this. Yes? So the students didn't come to the lectures, didn't come for lessons, and had to pay money for the university or academy. This is why some of the universities, schools, and academies need a special approval from the Ministry of Internal Affairs. And this is on the website, Dziennik Urzędowy Ministra, so you can always check if your university is on this list. There are some universities that don't need such approval. This is, for example, Warsaw University, Warsaw Technical University, Łazarski Akademia, Koźmiński Akademia, Academia of KSW, and so on and so on. So there are some that don't need such approval, but this is the, I think this is the point for the consular to check if the academy, yes, is on such a list or not, or needs the approval or not. Okay? So please, always, if you have some doubts, just ask your consular. And if a consular has a doubt, ask me. Okay? And I will check. Your results at the university are also important, even if you have a positive decision. Because according to the new law, you should check your results twice a year. Twice a year. In March and in June. March is after the first semester, yes, this is the winter semester. In June, after the session of the summer semester. Yes, so twice a year, you should check. We don't do it. But the next time, when you legalize it, we check it. Okay? So please, be good students. Okay? And then what is also very important, that the costs of accommodation are taken into account. It means that if you pay for the academic hostel 200 zloty, we also find out, we also need this bank statement that you have enough money to pay for your accommodation during the whole academic year. Yes? And after financial supplies, I will say in a moment. So what are the important documents? You should write it down and remember always, because these documents should be brought at the moment you submit your application form. Yes? The very beginning. The very beginning. This is the statement from the bank in Poland, how many financial supplies you have, resources, certification from the university, the special statement, information about place of stay. Is it a hostel? Is it the higher a house, an apartment? Is it the consulate house or whatever? Yes, wherever you live. So information about this is very important. Insurance. Insurance should be for the whole year of study. Yes, the whole calendar year. And this is insurance of medical treatment, not a travel, not as a student, not extreme sports, no, bungee and so on, no, medical treatment, yes? So this is very important. And if you continue your studies, the statement on grades from the university. So there are only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 documents. 5 documents we need. Do you need an attorney or a lawyer to help you? No. Just remember this, and that's all. And what about the supplies, the financial supplies? Okay. Who has a mobile phone? Who has a mobile phone? I have. You have. Okay. I have also such an application which is called calculator. You have it? Yes, great. So we are involved. Okay. The calculator is very useful. Very, very useful. We use it, you use it, the consular use it, the bank use it. So everybody uses the calculator. And what you should calculate, what you should count on this calculator. You should check if you have enough financial supplies, some financial resources to stay in Poland and to receive receive the residence card. Yes, and how you should check it. For the students of the full time, it means that these are the daily studies. You go every day, yes, on weekday to the university, attend the courses, attend the lessons, attend the lectures, and this is the full-time studies, yes, and also the course of Polish. And what you need? You need 7,001 zloty per 15 months. Why for 15 months? Because the residence card is issued for 15 months. At least, yes, it means the whole academic year plus 3 months, yes, in order to check your to stay for holidays, for example, in Poland, or to visit Poland in some other places, and so on and so on. So the whole calendar year plus 3 months, and it means 10,515 zloty. You can check it. You can check it. Then cost of studies. The whole academic year. It means 2 semesters. Yes. If you have a scholarship from the Polish government or from Indonesian government, you have a special statement. In this statement from the university or statement from your ambassador or from your consular that you are a student of Indonesian scholarship or Polish scholarship. Yes, so this is written in the statement. But if you have private studies, it means that your family or you yourself should pay for studies. You should find in the bank statement that you have enough money to pay for 2 semesters. 2 semesters, yes? But if you have already paid, it is written already in the statement from the university. Yes? So it should be always the balance. Yes? Or you have, or you should pay. Yes? Or you have already paid, or you should pay. Okay? So this is the very important financial supply for to pay for the studies. Then the cost of return ticket. This is also from the Polish Acts of Law, and for Indonesian students it is 2,500 zloty. Yes. So what you should count? You should count cost of staying for 15 months plus cost of studies. Yes. Plus the cost of return ticket, plus cost of accommodation for the next 15 months as well. Yes? So if you pay for academic, for example, 200 zloty, you should show in the bank statement that you have 200 zloty per each month for the whole period. Understood? Okay. So, if you have any doubts, just look to my presentation and count in your calculator. Yes. What is very important is that the statement should be from bank which have headquarters in Poland. So it is Millennium Bank, for example, or Polish Bank, or Santander Bank. There are banks where are the special accounts for students. Yes. So you can always go and make your own account as a student and show that you have money on your account. For our type of studies and for education, they are very similar, yes? But remember that for other kinds of studies, we issue the residence card for 12 months, not for 15, yes? So the number of months will be less. And you should check if you have still 7,701 zloty per each month for the whole calendar year. Then cost of the studies, the whole academic year, it also means. Or you have already paid, or you have to pay and show that you have on the account. Cost of the return ticket and also the cost of the accommodation. Yes? So you should always check if you have enough money in your bank statement. What is the length of procedure? Usually it takes about 100 days, but for students, we usually fulfill such a requirement that we should issue a decision within 60 days from the date that all documents are submitted. Yes? So this is very important, coming back to the first point, yes? That you should submit all your documents, count 60 days for issuance of the residence card. Understandable?
Yes.
Okay. So if some documents are missing, the procedure can take more time, because we should send the letter, we should take the letter, translate the letter, take the documents, we should check documents if they are proper, and then issue the decision. For how long is the permit? As I mentioned, for the full-time students is for 15 months, the first part. For the end of the studies, or for the end of the studies, if you are students of the second or for the third year, but not longer than 3 years, yes? Because the residence card is issued from 3 months up to 3 years only. Yes, so the deadline is 3 years. And for the persons who are going to graduate, is up to the time of graduation, yes, the end of the studies, and plus 3 months, yes, in order to decide to stay in Poland, to go out, to go to another country, to come back home, and so on. This is the 3 months, but not more than 3 years. And remember once again, apply for the residence stay not later than the last day of your legal stay. You know now how to check if you are legally in Poland, yes, on the basis of visa, because I showed you calculator, and you can check on the visa, which is the validity of visa. Then submit correctly filled application with your signature, with your passport, with your biometric photos, with the tax fee, on the basis of appointment, personal appointment. Application must be filled in Polish, so please check if your names, your data from the passport are correctly filled in the application form, okay? Just check if there is no any mistake, letter mistake, and so on, because this is very important. Otherwise, the residence card will be given on the improper name. So this is very important to look carefully if the application form is correctly filled in. If you have any other documents in other languages, for example, last time we had the student from Indonesia who had the insurance in Indonesian language. Passport RE, okay, but I don't understand the insurance statement in Indonesian. Nobody understands. So we should translate this insurance document into Polish, yes? And the document should be translated by the sword translator. So please mind the official translation. The stamp in your passport is your right. So please require from the officer to put the stamp in your passport. If you don't agree with the decision, you always have the right to appeal. And all documents should be submitted, the original and copy. So put your documents in proper order, okay? This is application, this is the statement from the bank, statement from the university, and place of stay. Okay? So this is the end issue and insurance. Okay, another persons who can graduate from. Okay. So maybe you have any questions about the legalization of stay for students?
Okay, so my question is, it corresponds to address. Firstly, you said that you have to basically fill in your application and then fill in the address based on where you want to have the letter to. So does that mean, let's say if I already have an accommodation somewhere and then I realize I need to move, but my address I put in the first option. Where do I have to go, or
Okay.
I can change it?
First of all, you should see the difference between address of residence, of staying, and address of correspondence. Yes? There can be two addresses, two different addresses. The place of stay is academic, but if you want to have your correspondence to the consular, just write the address of the consulate. Okay? And the whole correspondence will go to the consular section. Yes? And you can always go to the consular section and ask if you have any correspondence or not. So this is the first thing. The other thing is when you change your address, you should bring your own letter written by your own, that you change your address of correspondence or address of stay. Yes, this is very important, especially when you filled in the application form two addresses, one for staying and the other one for correspondence. Yes, so you should write a letter to the office. I changed my address of correspondence. Please send all the letters from the office to the address, Netherlands. Okay? This is one. And if you change your address of stay, you also should write, I changed my address of stay. This is the other one. And write the address.
Just to follow up, and to do that, do we need to make an appointment?
No. No, you can just send by post or just come to the consularity and leave the letter in the consularity. You don't have to make any appointment. Sometimes you can also write an email, but it is not a good thing because you can have any doubts from whom the email is. So it is better to write the letter in personal. Yes, and send by post or leave in the chancellery. But as quickly as you make it, it is better for you. Because sometimes we issue decision and your letter will miss our decision. And it's like this. Yes, the decision is sent but to change the address. Or the letter is sent and to change the address. So as quickly as you make it, it is the better for you.
May I, Ms. Agatha?
Yes.
On that note, may I just explain to them that if they want to have the embassy as their
Yes, of course.
Jadi kalau buat teman-teman yang nggak yakin akan selalu di tempat itu, tulis saja korespondensinya ke embassy dan meninggalkan nomor telepon di embassy. Jadi nanti kalau ada surat itu nanti kita ke telepon teman-teman. Ini loh ada surat dan teman-teman gitu. Jadi dengan gitu nanti kayak tadi kalau misalnya mau pindah, misalnya awal baru datang nih, nggak taunya kita nggak betah. Baru sebulan nggak betah pengen pindah. Nah nanti pada saat kita ngirim surat ke sana, mungkin suratnya bisa selimpangan. Kita kirim surat, ternyata surat mereka udah dikirim gitu. Jadi nggak ketahuan kan, banyak kejadian seperti itu. Jadi mungkin sekarang kita menawarkan, KBRI menawarkan kalau memang mau silakan, tapi ngasih tahu kita. Kami baru apply dengan apply untuk karta Pobitonya itu dengan meninggalkan korespondensinya di KBRI. Ini nama saya lengkap ini registration number saya dan nomor telepon saya. Jadi kalau ada apa-apa nanti kita bisa telepon atau WhatsApp atau SMS. Ini ada korespondensi dari Warsaw office yang khusus kayak ini. Oke, jelas ya. Ms. Agatha, I have one question. When you explain about the financial statement, you mentioned about the scholarship. You said that for the tuition fee, we could have the statement from the school saying that we are under the scholarship, so we don't have to pay the tuition fee. But some of us were also getting the non-scholarship only for the tuition fees, but also for the living costs. And is it also possible for them to issue the statement about this financial cost rather than having to put money, which is, well, like for instance, when I was doing my master's degree, I was on scholarship, and my parents didn't have enough money to cover all the whole year because I was on scholarship by the government. So it would be very hard for my parents to have this amount of money for a year for this for my living, which is actually everything is paid by the government. Is it possible?
Yes, but under conditions. If you are a student on scholarship, having scholarship from Indonesia embassy and from Indonesia government, and you are paid each month a special amount for living, then you have a special statement from the embassy, and that's all. You don't have to show on the account that you have extra money on your account. If it is the scholarship fulfilled 701 zloty per month, it's okay. The accommodation, yes, it's okay. But if you have private studies and you have to pay personally, not on the basis of scholarship, you should show that you have enough money for the whole period. Even if your parents cannot have not enough money for this. Yes?
Jadi jelas ya, buat teman-teman yang beasiswa, kalau nggak akan susah kan, orang tua saya nggak punya uang, misalkan harus berapa tadi, minimal 30.000 zloty untuk 1 tahun, itu kan susah, ada sedang statement itu. Jadi teman-teman datang ke KBRI bawa surat dari pemberi beasiswa itu, nanti kita akan bikin surat, nanti kita akan bicarakan dengan Shop Office bagaimana surat dari kitanya untuk menyatakan seperti itu, karena memang itu akan, saya pikir akan membantu.
While we are doing this, why this is the requirement like this? Because the residence card is issued in advance for the next period. Yes, we don't take into account your staying before. We just give you the residence card in advance as a trust that you will have enough money to live in Poland. Yes. So this is why such a requirement was implemented. Yes. Any other question?
Well, my name is Kevin, and I'm actually not from Warsaw, but I'm from Krakow. But one of my questions is, what if we are in the case where we couldn't find a sworn translator, say from Indonesian to Polish, because in one of the requirements for my legalization is that I have to translate my birth certificate from Indonesian into Polish, and I couldn't find any sworn translator in the area, so are there alternatives for that?
But in Poland, the same rights and the same competences as a sworn translator has a consular, but Polish consular. So what you should do in case of your birth certificate, you should ask your parents in Indonesia to translate it into Polish. Go to the Polish consular and then certify this translation.
Yes. For legalization, the document, we have also here in Warsaw sworn translators who translate those documents from English to Polish. So you can use the channel as well to deal with your document. Yes. Indonesian Polish.
Yeah. Indonesian to Polish.
English or Indonesian?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, you wanna?
Before now.
Ada Iwona, ada juga siapa nih? Daria.
Juga.
Ya maksudnya gitu ya. Okay, from Indonesia to Polish, we have the translator here. There are two, one in Poznan, is Daria, and the other one is Iwona. So you can contact the embassy. Never contact the embassy ID. Okay, thank you. So from now, contact the embassy. So all information will give you.
Good morning, ma'am. My name is Grace, and I want to ask about regarding the validity of Carta Begitu. I don't quite understand because, for example, in this case, the validity of the Carta Begitu, my Carta Begitu is until February 2021, but then I will be graduating like in May 2021. So is there less than 3 months, I think? So is there any mechanism, because as I know, Carta Begitu cannot be extended, so you have to like apply like for the first time. So what should we do? And then the second is applying for visa extension is also an option for student for like the legalization of staying here. Thank you.
The second question, visa extension is not a good solution for you because visa extension is up to the number of days less up to 365. So if you stay in Poland 365 days, the number of days, the maximum number of days for domestic visa, you cannot extend it. Yes, and the same Schengen visa. If the Schengen visa is for 90 days and you have already stayed in Poland 90 days, you cannot extend it. You have not such a right. If you have a Schengen visa for 45 days, you can extend it up to 90 days. But it is not a good solution because usually the visa is extended in very particular cases. For example, when was something that you cannot, you were not aware before applying for visa. For example, a person came for books trade, for example, yes, to the edition or somewhere, wanted to, for business, wanted to edit his or her book, and he found out that there is a good editor in France, and he can go to France and make negotiations in order to edit his book. Yes, not enough days for staying. Then we can extend for the next 10 days, for example. Yes, up to 90 days in case of Schengen visas, and up to 365 days in case of domestic visas, long-term visas. So this is the second question. And the first question was that you have a longer period of residence card, up to 2021, yes? It means that if you are going to stay in Poland as the extension of your residence card in February, yes? Do you remember? Yeah. In February. And your studies ends up in May. So you should apply again before ending of the residence for the next period. Yes? Because we cannot extend it. We cannot. There is not such a right, such a law in order to extend it. But you can also apply as a graduate, even if you didn't graduate so far. Yes, in the future. So you can submit your documents, for example, in January or in December 2020, and graduation. So we cannot extend the residence permit, temporary residence permit. There is not such a right. So you should always count what is good for you, what is good for your plans. You should always remember the goal of the state of Poland and your own plans, because the officer does not know your plans according to the state of Poland. Yes, this is your decision. If you want to change the studies, for example, or look for a job as a graduated, or you want to come back home after graduation, you don't know. You should just remind and just recall your own plans and goal of the state, and then apply. One more question.
Good morning. My name is Afsal. I want to ask about Karta Kobitu. Actually, I already applied my Karta Kobitu last year, but not in Warsaw, but in Łódź. And from February this year, I moved to Warsaw. And the Urzon in Łódź told me that they will send my document in Warsaw. And I wait for 2 months, and I get some letter from Warsaw Urzon that explain that they already received my application. And I already received like 2 letters from Warsaw Urzon. The first is the information that they already received my application, and the second in June, the letter that explained that I should send some documents again, like to update and so on and so on. And I already sent my document, but until now I still don't have some information that they already received or not. And many times I check in website the application. It's still in WSJ D6 that I should send my document. And otherwise, I will go to my country in this December, the first to take my research sample, because I was doing some research there, and then I will come back again to Poland. And the second, because I still don't receive my Karta Pobytu, I will apply visa in my country. And I already asked the Urzon that I should write a letter that I want to cancel my application. And if I write my application in this week, maybe still, is that possible that I still legally here in Poland until my departure date to my country, or what should I do?
You are still legal, but in your case, like this one, there are some shortcomings and delay in the issuance of decision, because it happens. It happens because there are a lot of foreigners and too little officers. But you can also always write the number of your case to the consular, and I'm still in touch with the Mr. Consular, so I always can check it, okay, and tell through him what to do. But we are still legal, so you can always leave Poland on the legal way, and but you should apply for visa again. What happens? We react somehow. So we issue the decision, or we write a letter to you to bring some documents and send the whole your file to the Office of Foreigners. And the Office for Foreigners has also delays in ponaguplenia, yes? So it is not a good solution. The best solution is to write an email or to write to Mr. Consular, yes, in your cases. Then you have also right to complain that the proceeding is so long, and you have the special situation, the decision area, and so on and so on. So we always react for the letter like these complaints. You have also right to review your file. So this is a calendar, an internet calendar. You can make an appointment to see what is in your file. But in fact, in your files and only these documents you have already submitted. We don't collect any other documents from your university, from embassies. If you bring the proper documents, they are in your file, and nothing more. Only document we issue is the letter from the office and the decision. Yes. You can also ask for duplicates of documents and special statements from the office. The statement from the office is the statement confirming that you stay legally in the territory of Poland. But be careful, because we usually can certify in the statement only these facts which are in your file. If your file is not written that you are graduated, we don't confirm it. This is quite other document from your university, not from our office. Yes? So be in mind what you want to confirm in the statement before writing such a letter. And also you can have information via a website, as the colleague said, or via formularz kontaktowy. There are a lot of mails, there are a lot of questions from foreigners and from Poles. So you should wait for the answer about 3 or 5 days for the answer via formularz kontaktowy. What is the other thing? One was mentioned here. What happens when I start to be a student, I started to be graduated, or I started to be a person who wants to work in Poland? I mean, I have an employer, I want to start work on the basis of contract, I'm high qualified and so on. So what happens then? And I submitted the documents like student. Then you can change your aim of staying. And this is very important, because as quickly as you do it, it is the better for you. Then the decision is issued on the basis of quite our requirements, yes, and confirm quite our aim of your stay in Poland. And please remember that the aim of the stay should be longer than 3 months, still. Yes, it doesn't change. This is the general requirement. One case was already mentioned. This is the moving application from or to another voivodeship. I have already explained this, that it can happen. And please remember that we also inquire from the border guards, police, and agency of internal security if a person stayed in Poland is not feared for the public order or public security. And it takes usually 30 days, according to law, but can be extended up to 60 days. So the shortcomings and delays may be also the consequence of the extended acquires of the such institutions. There are also super cases. I have also mentioned this here. It is the appeal to the Chief of the Office for Foreigners, but in cases like you, and if you have all proper documents and everything is correct, but something was wrong during your previous procedure, it is better to reject your appeal in the Chief of the Office for Foreigners and apply it once again. It will be faster, just faster. So please check if your documents are correct and submit application once again. And as for the fee, you can also ask to return your fee and pay once again. Yes, this 330 zloty. We can also correct the decision if it is something wrong in your name, for example, or the date of the birth. And we can also reject the case or the decision when it happens that you, for example, finished your studies. Yes, you are not a student anymore, and we receive such information from your university, or we check your data in the national databases of students. students, foreign students, because you have the obligation to check such a data. Yes, if you are still a student. Yes, there are some true or false, but let's go to the frequently asked questions. What to do when happens? In fact, this part I was prepared to ask to listen to your questions and try to ask them and try to answer them. So, if you have any questions, this is the next.
Ms. Agatha, now we are going to we come to the
Yes, to answer.
question and answer.
Yes.
Okay. We have here also beside the students, also the diaspora, and representatives from the workers as well. We also would like to ask you about about Carta Mobitu. If they don't have the agency and the independent workers, so who will be responsible for them to extend the submitting the application for Carta Mobitu?
Okay. As for the decision on the basis of the employment in Poland, again, the subject of this proceeding is a foreigner. So not an employer, not an agency, but a foreigner. And he or she, he or herself, is responsible for the proceeding. So you are responsible for your documents, and you should pay attention if all documents are correct. Yes? So this is the first thing. The other thing is that there is also such a work permit, which is something else than the Carta Pobytu. This document is issued for the employer who wants to employ the foreigner. Yes? And on the basis of this work permit, a foreigner is issued a visa in order to work in Poland. Yes, this is also long-term visa. What documents are needed in case of decision of Carta Pobytu on the basis of work? First of all, you should always submit your documents and your application personally, again, as I mentioned in the beginning, because the formal phase is the same for all types of applications. Yes, it doesn't matter if you are a student, a worker, a graduate, high qualified, or whatever. You should apply personally, and you should ask your special attachment to this application form called attachment number 2, and employer should fill it in and sign it. This is the permission to employ you for a specified period on the specified conditions by the employer. Yes, and this is very important because this is the permission. And on the basis of this attachment, we issue the documents. What is more important, this is the insurance, again, for medical treatment, place of stay, and sometimes a contract, but it is not necessary. So this is the whole documents that you need, in fact, in order to legalize on the basis of work in Poland.
Oke, silakan yang mau bertanya. Yang belum dikasih kesempatan.
So my question is, what is the procedure of receiving the decision? Either we are accepted or rejected. Will we get notified? I mean, in my case, I had no idea that the immigration office sent me the correspondence. So I asked my friend, who at that time was here and checked to my post office, and I got rejected. And because of this misinformation, I missed the opportunity to appeal. And then I didn't know what to do, so my friend and I visited a lawyer, and we can see here in the 7-point, attorney let me down. And they said that we are already illegal here, and yeah, and we don't know what to do, so we went back to extend our visa. So yeah, I mean, will we get notified?
Okay, but you, in fact, you submitted, or already submitted your documents.
Yeah.
Okay, and the decision or the correspondence was sent on the address of attorney. Yes?
No, to my address.
To your address.
Yeah.
But your address was not correct, or you haven't received the document.
I already moved.
Ah, you have already moved.
Yes.
And you didn't you didn't inform the office that you changed the address. Yes.
Because at that time we had no place to stay. That's why we went abroad to do internship.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So you have two possibilities, two solutions. You have a stamp in your passport.
Yep.
You have a stamp in your passport. So you have two solutions, but I should check it, in fact, because just on the basis of your speaking, I cannot tell what is the better one. The first one is to apply once again on the basis of this, but the second one is to ask for the duplicate of the decision and make an appeal. Make an appeal. Explaining.
Although I have already missed the change,
Yes.
I still can appeal.
Yes, you still can appeal, because an appeal is always possible, yes? But it may happen that you have a rejection, yes? In any way. So, but the appeal is important. But now you are in what situation? You are still a student, or you are
I'm a
graduate?
student.
You are
I'm still a student. Yeah.
So when you can leave Poland?
Next year, at the end of next year.
In the end of the next year?
Yeah.
Not for holidays?
No, for study.
Holidays. Mm-hmm. Because in fact, when you forgotten to inform the office about the changing of the address, is not the reason to change the decision. In fact, but you can still leave Poland if you make an appeal legally. Yes. So this is the solution. In any way, you can always once again make an application. So apply for the residence once again, and we will see what happens.
Okay, thank you.
I cannot tell you because I should check your document, your file. Yes, what was going on.
Thank you.
Hi. So right now, so right now I'm currently in my last year, and actually I'm extending right now for one semester. And so right now I'm staying here on my visa. So I just recently got back from Indonesia to apply a visa, and I got my visa. But then I was wondering if what would be the best case for me if I want to stay here in Poland. Is it possible for me to? So that means that I'm graduating soon, right? Maybe in around January or February, hopefully. What is the best case scenario for people like me who are graduating soon? Is it possible for us to submit the documents for graduates for now, for example, or after I get my diploma, or so on and so forth? Or maybe if I, is it possible if I apply now and then wait for my diploma and then just collect my diploma once I get it? So I'm asking for the best case scenario for students like me who are graduating. Thank you.
Yes, we are trying to help you to make validity of your visa, and what was the aim of your visa?
To study, to complete my studies, and it possibly my visa will be over in June.
Next year?
Yes.
Okay. So stay up to June. And when you graduate, June is next year, yes? You have still 7 or 8 months until the extension validity of your visa. And you can verify your plans during this period. When you graduate in January, yes, you will have a possibility to make a decision what to do next. To stay as a graduate or to continue your studies, for example, in other university. And then you should apply. This is my advice. But if you want it too early, you will have problems because we will ask you to show that you fulfill the requirements. Yes? And if you apply right now, for example, for continue the studies, which are stated that finish in January, this is not the aim over 3 months.
Okay.
Yes? So you should verify by yourself your plans, and you have still time. Don't be in a hurry.
Okay, but it is possible, right?
Just
to wait after
just
for my time.
just think slowly what you are going to do in Poland after graduating.
Okay.
Yes, you still have time.
Hello, my name is Gia. I want to ask a little about the resident card fee. So, because I'm going to pick my resident card the next week, and it says that we have to pay for like 50 zloty, and there is like a discount, and there's 3 people or category that has the special things to get the discount. Are we students also have the discount because it will make the resident card becomes 25? Because it states
Students up to 26, I think, discount.
So because on the website they don't put any details on the age, but it only people who receive education in a secondary school or in university. So is it all students or student under?
I think so, on the basis of the students' legitimate, yes, this IC, and up to 26.
Okay, so if it's more than above 26, then we have to pay the regular one.
The regular one.
Okay, thank you.
This is the fee for residence card. The
Resident card.
For resident.
For resident card.
Not for the trips. Not resident. For the student is the whole. Yes, that's the whole.
Hello, my name is Rizka. So there are 8 of us who got rejected with our Karta Capital. And for my case, that the files are being submitted to the head of foreigners. One of my friends, luckily, got his Karta Capital last week. And according to you, what do you suggest us? Because in my case, that the letter was submitted on November 7th, and it's been like almost 3 weeks. And do you think that I need to submit new applications, or should I wait for an appeal?
Yes.
Because
Yes, submit the whole documents.
7 of us.
Yes.
Okay.
Each of them.
But we already submitted the appeal, so I think
Even if you submitted an appeal, just because the appeal will take more than the new application.
okay, because when we saw our friends who got his Kartu Pabito, I think okay, we should wait, and then probably we got the good news to get our Kartu Pabito. So you think that we
Yes,
could?
I think you should apply once again because it takes less time than
Like how many months? Because for our
60
first
days if you
60
present
days.
all proper documents.
Okay, so in this case, I think
I have mentioned
60 days.
60 days if present all the proper documents. If you don't present all the proper documents, we will send you the letter, you should read your documents once again, and we will check it. Yes, so
Like, is it possible that to accelerate the procedures, as you said?
it is not the accelerated procedure. This period is in the law. Yes, but it's in the new amendment. In this new amendment. And we really try to issue decisions within 60 days, if all documents are proper. I mentioned in the beginning that we have the Saturday, academic Saturday, yes, on the 5th
On the 5th of October, we went there and we want to ask about our case number status, but they don't accept us because at that time it's just for the new applicants. So we went back with nothing.
because you are not the new applicant, yes?
Yeah. And so then we wait for 7 months and then we got rejected and when we submitted the appeal and now we're waiting for a decision.
So it was a good answer, yes. You have a proper information.
Because I'm following this case. So this case is actually the one that Pak George presented to you. And then out of the 8 people, 1 get the Carta Público and the 7 with no news. So is there going to be any news about this rejection or not? So that's why they're hoping the card is still on the way. The question is that, are they going to receive any notification about the status of their appeal? Because one of them get the carta and the rest not. So are they going to receive anything? Or
I don't know what, I cannot tell you what is about the Office for Foreigners. But as for the first instance, which is Mazowiak office, you should apply once again. Yes, so submit your application once again with the proper documents and reject, in the same time, reject the appeal in the Office for Foreigners. Because according to the administrative proceedings, we cannot proceed 2 cases of the same reasons, yes, of the same basis, together. The second instance and the first instance. So one should be rejected.
Because I'm confused. I'm not. I think that they are also as confused as me. Okay, because we have the right to appeal. We appeal, and then I didn't get any notification about my appeal, and my friend get carta probito. So you said it's better for me just to take my appeal and then apply once more. In that case, why would I appeal if that's your suggestion, maybe it's better to suggest to start all over again, because in that case we shorten the time. And then if we have the rights to appeal, and then now we don't have any news about the appeal, but you said it's better to apply once more, which means that our rights is not given.
Yes, but I cannot. I'm not responsible for the proceedings of the second instance. We are not responsible.
Okay.
So
Okay, that's why.
you ask me for the solution.
No.
And the best solution,
Yes,
my advice,
I'm asking is that whether the foreign office usually, according to your experience, would give notification about the bills or not?
No. No. This is why I give you my own advice.
Okay, that's the question. Actually, that's the question. Okay, if you said no, well, yes, I guess your suggestion is the best.
Your right,
Yeah?
your right is to appeal. Of course, it is your right. But your right is also to be legally informed. Your decision. So the decision, what to do, to wait for the decision from the Office for Foreigners, or to apply once again in order to get the residence card faster, is your own. Yes? This is your right and this is your right. And you should balance what you want to do. To wait longer or to do it faster. Okay? This is my advice.
When you get the, in this case, maybe rather than appeal, we just apply once more, right? But there is no guarantee that the second the application would be given.
No, there is no guarantee because it depends on the documents. I cannot give you guarantees. I cannot give to anyone guarantees at this moment that everything is okay. I don't know the reason why was the negative decision. Maybe because the insurance was insurance. So if you now you know from my presentation what insurance you need, now I believe that you present your documents with your application, and then they will be correct, and you will get the card faster. So this is my advice.
Yes,
I know
thank you.
that the Office for Foreigners had very big delays. I know, because there were a lot of negative decisions, and they have very little people to review. So they have very big delays, even 2 years. So it is really faster to apply once again. But according to your right, you have right to appeal, but you have also the right to be legally in Poland and apply anytime. It's also the right.
Thank you.